Zamfara State government calls for concerted efforts against banditry. Nigeria Bar Association suspends General Secretary. Court sentenced a Kidnap Kingpin Wadume to 7 years imprisonment. On business news, price of food and others drive inflation to 17-year high. On international news, William Ruto declared winner of Kenya presidential election. And on sports news, Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria vows to scuttle Nigeria Football Federation Congress over exclusion. Hello there and thanks for joining us. That was the headlines for Standard Voice Television News. I am Rahama Ibrahim Dosha with the news info. Zamfara State government has ordered all hoteliers in the state to scrutinize all their guests by means of valid identification before admitting them into their hotels. This is part of an expanded Security Council meeting decisions on Monday, August 15, 2022 in Gusau, the state capital. For more on the story, over to our correspondent Samira Ibrahim.
The measure is to checkmate terrorists and criminals as part of the government's effort to tackle insecurity in the state, as government was very much concerned over usage of hotels by terrorists and criminals to perpetrate their heinous activities in the state. The government said any hotelier found violating the new order will have his hotel shut down and prosecuted according to the executive order recently signed by the state governor, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawallan Maradon.
Protection Act, which we are going to do right now for onward transmission of various events that we have still.
The Marathon Expanded Security Council meeting, which lasted for 8 hours, also considered enforcing restriction of motorcycles movement in the state capital and environs from 9 p.m. to down. The government ordered the security agencies to shoot at sight any motorcycle rider who violates the order and refuse to stop at security checking points within designated areas.
Please may rise up for the national anthem.
Political activity should only commence when campaigns start officially as outlined on the earlier timetable for election 2023. Security forces are hereby instructed to deal with anyone found violating the order. My dear people of the States, considering the recent incursions of bandits in some areas on the outskirts of Gusau local government, the state capital, the following measures are hereby taken with immediate effect. 1. Riding of motorcycle is hereby banned from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in all areas outskirts of Gusau town, such as Mariri, Dampa, Tsunami, Barakalau, Samaru, Gadabu, and Yau East. Security forces are hereby ordered to shoot any riding motorcycle between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. in the outskirts of Gusau, who refuse to stop when ordered to do so by them. As of today, any guest that seeks accommodation in any hotel must produce a valid identification card. Any hoteliers that contravene this directive will have their license revoked by vendors. Inshallah, with the new strategies and the new vigor by all the security stakeholders to combat this hydra-headed monster, the end of banditry is in sight. More than any other time, I call on all well-meaning people of the states to continue to assist our security forces with prayers and goodwill. The fight against banditry is an extension one. We have all seen how a social problem that began in a remote part of the for over 10 years is gradually threatening the entire northwest sub-region.
The measure was taken by the Security Council following reports on the use of motorcycles by bandits and other criminals to perpetrate their criminal activities within the state capital and its outskirts. Meanwhile, members of the public have been urged to be vigilant in their localities and report to security agencies any suspicious persons or strange movements in their respective communities. The Security Council also charged security operatives, particularly military and police, to do more in combating banditry and other criminal activities in the state. The government said, although peace is now gradually returning to the state, there is the need for working synergy between and among the security operatives in the state. Parents have also been charged to be alive to their responsibilities in proper upbringing of their children by close monitoring of their activities, especially the youths, to be useful members of the society. That's the report. Samira Ibrahim reporting for SVTV News.
Former Vice President and Presidential Candidate of the PDP for the 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, has assured Nigerians that he has no other agenda but to serve the people. He made this known in Yola, Adamawa State, in an event where thousands of supporters of the All Progressive Congress in the state, the Camp 2 All Progressive Congress. For more on the story, over now to our correspondent, Sumaya Dusara.
According to the PDP presidential flag bearer, if elected, he will tackle the various challenges confronting the country and ensure that there is peace, progress, abundance, as well as create wealth for the country. Mr. Abubakar was received by a mammoth crowd at the Mahmoud Ribadu Square in Yola. It was the first time he was returning to his hometown after emerging as the flag bearer of the PDP in the presidential primaries held in Abuja. From the Yola International Airport, he proceeded to the Lamido of Adamawa's Palace for a courtesy call before heading for the mega rally where thousands of APC supporters, including 2 state lawmakers, decided to defect to the PDP. In his remarks, the national chairman of the PDP, Ayochia Ayu, while receiving the campees, assured them a level playing ground. Governor of Adamawa State, Umaru Fintiri, said PDP in Adamawa has delivered on its campaign promises and will do more. Alhaji Abubakar, who started his address in Hausa, dialects by switch over to English, appreciated the tremendous support he has been getting from the state, stressing that the event is not a campaign but to receive the campees. Also present at the rally were Mr. Abubakar's running mate, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, former Vice President Namadi Sambo, former Adamawa State Governor Buni Haruna, former Governor of Niger State Babangida Aliyu, Senator Ahmad Maina, and Senator Adina Malai. Sumaya Dosa reporting for SVTV News.
The Nigeria Bar Association has suspended its General Secretary, Mrs. Joyce Udwa, from office with immediate effect by the National Executive Committee of the association. The association on Monday said Mrs. Udwa was suspended on the grounds of gross misconduct, pending the pre-conference meeting of the Nigeria Bar Association National Executive Council, scheduled to hold on Sunday, 21st August 2022. This was disclosed in the resolution reached by the National Executive Committee at its emergency meeting made available by the NBA Publicity Secretary, Rapolo Induka. The development follows a major disagreement between Odua and the outgoing NBA president, Olumide Akpata, including issues bordering on the proposed constitutional amendment of the NBA. The national officers had also, in the memo, accused Odua of lacking proper temperament, aspects of the General Secretary in the management of the Secretariat staff, as well as her inability to diligently discharge the duties of her office. A federal high court in Abuja has sentenced a kidnap kingpin, Hamisu Bala, also known as Wadume, and 2 others to 7 years imprisonment. Justice Binta Inyako convicted Wadume of the 2 of the 13-count charges against him and 2 others. For more on the story, Samira Ibrahim has more details.
The court also convicted Aliyu Danji, a police inspector who was the station officer at the police headquarters at Abi local government area of Tribal State, on 3 years imprisonment for tampering with the record to conceal a crime. Beside Wadume and Danji, others charged with them are Awalu Bala, also known as Omorazo, Obabala, also known as Obadelu, Bashir Waziri, also known as Babarons, Zubairu Abdullahi, also known as Bashu, and Rayyan Abdul. The judge also sentenced Delu Abdullahi and Abdul to 7 years imprisonment, while she discharged and acquitted Umurazu and Babarons for want of evidence. Justice Nyauko's judgment was delivered on July 22nd and made available to journalists on Sunday. Wadume and others were arraigned by the Attorney General of the Federation with charges of kidnapping, murder, terrorists, and illegal arms. The charges followed the killing of 3 police officers and 2 civilians on August 6, 2019 by some soldiers. The policemen, who were from the Intelligence Response Team Abuja, had arrested Wadume at Ibi before they were ambushed on the road by the military men. 10 military officers earlier charged with the convicts, whose trial were separated for departmental reasons, are Captain Tijani Balarabi, Staff Sergeant David Isaac, Sergeant Ibrahim Muhammad, Corporal Baslo Obanye, Private Muhammad Nura, Lance Corporal Okozori Gidem, Corporal Marcos Michael, Lance Corporal Apagra, Staff Sergeant Abdullahi Adamu, and Private Ebele Samuel. That's the report. Samira Ibrahim reporting for Standard Voice Television.
Flood has destroyed 350 houses and food items at 3 communities in Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State. The spokesman for the State Emergency Management Agency, Abubakar Gani, who confirmed the development, said several people were rendered homeless in the area. He said the incidents occurred over the weekend, adding that the villages affected include Shir Ajia, Magera, and Runji. The special advisor to Governor Aminu Tambwal, who heads the agency, Alhaji Zubairu Magaji, said 250 houses were destroyed in the 3 communities. According to him, the flood was caused by a downpour, noting that no life was lost during the disaster, but several food items were washed away by the flood. He sympathized with the people of the area and assured them that the state government would provide relief materials to them as soon as possible. The vice chairman of the local government area, Ibrahim Lawal, commended the state government for identifying with the victims at the critical time and appealed for timely provision of relief materials to the victims, many of whom he said had been rendered homeless and without food to eat. The Academic Staff Union of Universities is scheduled to meet with the federal government representatives on Tuesday over its prolonged strike action. Speaking in an interview with journalists, the president of the union, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, said the meeting was to discuss one of the 7 issues ASU is protesting over, which includes the issue of renegotiation of the 2009 agreement. He said it is not just about wages, but rather it has to do with the system, funding, the structure, the autonomy, and other issues, and how to fund the universities. He retweeted that the issue of IPPIS and UTAS has been put to rest. If the government agrees with the union, everything will be resolved and the strike action may be called off. Let's have our business news with Amina Kabir Sarki.
Audio Jungle.
Thank you, Rama Ibrahim, and on business updates. The National Bureau of Statistics has disclosed that Nigeria headline inflation has increased to 19.64% in July, bringing the country's inflation figure to the highest recorded since 2005. In a report it released Monday, the NBS said the figure was 2.27% higher compared to 17.88% recorded in July 2021. On a month-on-month basis, it said the headline inflation rate in July 2022 was 1.817%, which was 0.001% higher than 1.816% recorded in June 2022. It said food inflation rose to 22.02% on a year-on-year basis, which was 0.99% higher compared to the rate 21.03% recorded in July 2021. This rise in food inflation was caused by increases in price of bread and cereals, food products, potatoes, yam and other, tubers, meat, fish, oil and fat. It however said there was a 0.01% decline in food inflation when compared to June due to the reduction in price of some food items like tubers, maize, garri and vegetables. For all items less farm produce, it rose to 16.26% on a year-on-year basis, up by 2.54% when compared to 13.72% recorded in July 2021. On a month-on-month basis, the core inflation rate was 1.75% in July 2022. It said the highest increase recorded in the category includes prices of gas, liquid fuel, solid fuel, passenger transport by road, passenger transport by air, garments, cleaning, repair and hire of clothing. Meanwhile, urban inflation rate was 20.09%, a 2.08% higher compared to 18.01% recorded in July 2021. That's all for business updates. I'm Aminat Kabir Sarki. Thank you for watching and keep watching Standard Voice Television.
Thank you, Amina, and an international news.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Mr. William Ruto has been announced as the 5th Kenyan president by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The president-elect, who spoke after the announcements of the results on Monday, said there are no losers, pointing out that the people of Kenya have won because they raised the political bar. Mr. Ruto led a tight presidential race against opposition leader Raila Odinga. Charles emerged just before the declaration when the Electoral Commission's vice chair and 3 other commissioners told journalists they could not support the opaque nature of the final phase.
Millions who participated in our campaigns peacefully. The millions who turned up to vote for us on 9th of August. And the millions who have waited patiently until this announcement has been made. Specifically, I want to thank my fellow countrymen and women, because we have in this election, jointly we have raised the bar. This election was much about the issues than the ethnic configurations that have always
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the President-elect of Kenya, Mr. William Ruto, on his victory in the general elections on August 9, 2022. The President, in a statement issued on Monday by his spokesman, Femi Adesina, lauded the people of Kenya for the peaceful and transparent outcome of the elections. He added that the election demonstrated that the democratic process, values and principles remained the best way for the people to select their leaders and hold them accountable. And on sports news, the Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria has vowed to abort the proposed annual General Assembly of the Nigeria Football Federation over its exclusion from the meeting. After so much pressure from the government and Nigerian football stakeholders, the Amaju Pinnick-led Nigeria Football Federation has fixed August 16th as the date for its annual congress in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. The tenure of the present board of the Nigeria Football Federation, which began on September 21, 2018, will expire on September 20th. So top on the agenda of the proposed Congress is the 2022 NFF election. However, instead of inviting Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria, the body recognized by World Football Governing Body FIFA, and the NFF Congress. The NFF has decided to invite a rival footballers union to the Congress. It would be recalled that the rival body known as All Nigerian Players Football Union was inaugurated in November 2021 in Abuja under the leadership of Chikelu Ilionyosi, a loyalist of Amaju Pinnick. And still on sports news, Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag has told his players to buckle up for the challenges ahead and stop feeling sorry for their woeful display over him. He made this known following the team's humiliating 4-0 defeat at Brentford on Saturday. The result leaves the Red Devils bottom of the Premier League after 2 games. The Dutchman attempted to make his mark in the wake of the Brentford defeat by cancelling the squad's planned day off on Sunday and dragging them in for extra training. Mr. Ten Hag told Sky Sports that he asked the players to play with belief and take responsibility. And that's all we have for today's news, but before we go, let's take a recap at the major headlines. Zamfara State government calls for concerted efforts against banditry. Nigeria Bar Association suspends General Secretary. Court sentenced a Kidnap Kingpin Wadume to 7 years imprisonment. On business news, price of food and others drive inflation to 17-year high. On international news, William Ruto declared winner of Kenya presidential election. And on sports news, Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria vows to scuttle Nigeria Football Federation Congress over exclusion. On behalf of the production team, Head of News and Current Affairs, I still remain Rahama Ibrahim. Do have a nice day and keep watching Standard Voice Television.